Hey y'all, we are going to do a linear equation application. Sorry, I don't know why this isn't open. A linear equation application involving measures of angles. Just wait just a second. This should open up eventually. So we're actually going to do a problem that has us try to solve the different measures of angles. It will talk about complementary angles and supplementary angles. Complementary angles have a sum of 90, and supplementary angles have a sum of 180. Let's see here. This is all the other videos that we've done so far. So here we go. It says to find the measure of an angle whose complement is 4 times its measure. So, like I said, our complementary angles, so complementary angles, let's do it this way. They have a sum of 90 degrees. Okay, so that's really important. It tells me to find the measure of an angle. Do you see there that this is letting me know that my angle, I don't know the measure of it, right? So the measure of my angle is unknown. It told me whose complement. Okay, so that tells me that if I combine both of these two angles together, I'm going to get 90. So that means I'm going to have equal 90. And then it tells me, okay, so whose complement, right, is 4 times its measure. And what it means by its measure is the that unknown angle that we have. So we have x for our unknown angle, and then our other angle. So this is like angle 1. This is angle 2. Our other angle, it tells me that it's 4 times its measure, 4 times the measure of the unknown angle. So I also see here that my complementary, it's the sum, right? So sum means addition. So this is telling me, let me go ahead and rewrite this down here. Equal 90. This is telling me that I have an angle and I have another angle that's 4 times its measure. And what you would do is we would add 4x and 1x equals 5x. And then here we would divide both sides by 5. So those would cancel, right? And I get x equals 90 divided by 5 is 18. It's only asking me to find the measure of that one angle, not the other angle. And so the answer that you would have here for our first angle would be that our x equals 18. So the measure of our angle would be 18. Okay, so let's do this problem. It says find the measure of an angle such that the difference between the measures of its supplement and 6 times its complement is 40 degrees. I know that's an asterisk. That's supposed to say 40 degrees. Okay, let me scoot this up some. So this problem right here actually says a whole bunch of stuff that could be rather confusing. We're going to use the fact that we learned in the previous problem that complementary angles have a sum of 90 degrees, right? So our other fact that we're going to use is that supplementary angles, they have a sum of 180 degrees. And then we learned that complementary angles have a sum of 90 degrees. If you notice, this problem uses both of those facts. So it tells me to find the measure of an angle such that the difference, okay, I'm going to stop there. The difference. Difference is going to imply subtraction, right? So I know that this problem is going to be a subtraction problem. It says between the two measures, right? And it's the measure of an angle such that the difference between, okay, here are the two measures, the two different measures that I'm taking the difference of. I want to make sure it has everything on here because I know it's been cutting off a lot of stuff. I'm reading my notes. Find the measure of an angle such that the difference between the measures, okay, of its supplement and 6 times, that should be like plural, its complement is 40. Okay, so it is correct. Just want to make sure. So it's telling me that I'm going to take the difference between the measure of its supplement and 6 times its complement. Okay, so because I know the facts that the sum of supplementary equals 180, and I know the facts of the complementary sum is equal to 90, this is actually saying, okay, so as far as the supplementary part of the problem, where it says between the measures of its supplement, right here in blue, if I know that two angles could add together to give me 180, I should also understand and know that if I have 180 and I subtract my unknown angle, do you agree that what I would end up getting is the measure of the other angle, correct? And the fact would be that if I had added both of them together, I would have gotten 180. So this is how you write the measure of its supplement. Okay, so now for its complement in purple, I know that if I add two angles together and they're complementary, I'm going to get 90 degrees. I should also understand that if I have 90 degrees and I subtract one angle, the difference of that is going to be that angle's complementary angle. Okay, so I have those right there. Those are actually going to be a part of my equation. I just need to see here where it says 6 times its complement. Excuse me, there should actually be an S attached to that word time. Okay, and then I also see is 40. Is 40 is very important because is 40, I'm going to probably have to do this, y'all. Is 40, I'm going to make my pen a little bit smaller. Is 40 means equal 40. And the fact that it says 6 times its complement, if this is the measure of its complement, I'm going to multiply it by 6. So now I have the two pieces that go into my equation, and because I'm doing the difference, this is actually the problem I messed up in my class face-to-face. I was trying to explain the whole 180 minus x and the 90 minus x, and then when I plugged it all into the formula, I accidentally did an addition sign, and I went to solve it, and I was like, whoa, hold on, something's not right. And so I'm hoping that, for my great face-to-face students, they're going to be like, I saw how she messed up, I saw how she fixed it, and I saw how she noticed it. And I just didn't want to actually share or post that Zoom video because there's quite a few minutes of confusion there. It took me rereading the problem before it really stood out to me that says difference, okay? So I'm going to take what I have here, which is the measure of its complement. So I get, here's the difference, sorry. I get 180 minus x. That's going to be the measure of the supplement of our angle. And then I'm going to take the difference of 6 times its complement. Okay, so what I notice is that I have a 6 touching a parenthesis. That means multiplication. That is the distributive law. Okay, this literally says that I need to distribute that 6 into both of those terms. Don't confuse that with subtraction. When you get to that second term, that negative x, don't think what you're doing is 6 minus x. Mathematically, you couldn't do anything to it anyways, but just know that that is actually also going to be multiplied. So for my 180, I have not touched it. I have 180 minus x. if you do, I'm trying to grab my phone because I don't have this solved on my notes. I want to make sure I do the math correctly. I do know for a fact without my calculator that if you do 6 times 90, you'll get 540. CAL, calculator, there you are. Okay, so you do 6 times 90, you get 540, correct? Those signs are different, so it's a negative 540. You do 6 times the 1, that's the coefficient of x. 6 times 1 is 6. Those signs are the same, therefore it's positive. Don't forget that variable right there, y'all. Now on our right-hand side, I'm just going to bring down equals 40. Now you notice I have 180 minus 540. That's a negative 360. That came from those right there. And then if you notice, I have a negative x and a positive 6x. Those signs are different. So if you do like 6 minus 1, you get 5, and that would be a positive 5. Or what I've always said is 1 and 6 have different signs. So you subtract, keep the sign of the larger, because we're combining variables. You keep your variable and you keep your exponent. We have that set equal to 40. Now what we would do is we have, I don't even need my calculator. We do red. We have a negative 360. We actually need to add 360 to both sides because that would be the inverse. That cancels there. What I have left is 5x equals, if you do 40 plus 360, because those signs are the same, you just add them and you get 400. Now lastly, in order to solve for my x, it's multiplying with the 5. So what I need to do is divide by 5. That cancels on the left-hand side, and we get x equals 400 divided by 5 is going to give you 80. And so find the measure of an angle. My angle, the measure I don't know, that's x. So the measure of the angle is 80 degrees. Okay, let me zoom back out, see what we're working with. Oh, that was it. Okay, I put on some notes in class that I was going to work on a handful of problems. I just want to make sure that I do those problems. Once I have completely finished 10.4, then I will move on to some 10. This is 10.5. Once I've completely finished 10.5, I will move on to 10.6. I'm questioning if this is 10.5. Yeah. We did the insecticide. We did the Sanchez. Okay, yeah, no, this is 10.4. 10.5 is going to be next, and that's going to include some geometric like formulas and stuff. Okay. If y'all have questions, make sure y'all ask. Thanks. Bye.